Hey, how you doing? Hope you guys are doing well. So this is a long overdue reading. This is in regards to sex magic. I thought I'd just tap into this reading so we can get it out the way because I was meant to do this like probably back in like April or May, maybe before then. But hey, let's get into it now and just see what's going on in relation to the energy. And for those of you that have been, wanting to know more about the energy, in relation to sex magic and what it does and how it helps you and if it's good for you, if it's not good for you, whatever it is, all the time God is in my readings. We put God first, to make sure that God protects us in everything that we do. But at the same time, use your discernment and move forward in a way that is comfortable for you. Okay, so let's get into this reading, shall we, in regards to sex magic. So, warning signs are there for you not to worry about anything. It does say that sex is very, very important for life and lifespan. So if it's related to lifespan, it's very important because obviously sex magic is very important to lifespan. It doesn't say that it's a bad thing. It says what we really want to know is why do people use it a lot? Because there's a mind around the situation where people use it. Like it's got to be used around the mindset, okay? After all, people have used it in sex rituals, okay? Sex rituals. So sex magic is sex rituals, okay? Not just sex to bring in babies or to even just love make and think about fantasies and, have a good time. But sex rituals is in regards to bringing in money, okay? That one is in relation to money. So we're more heading in that direction to look at it in relation to money, okay? So it doesn't say much about it on the surface, but it does say in the kingdom of God. Ideally, if you was to warn yourself to look into the mindset around that, it does bring in money. So it does actually bring money to you. Okay. It says warning signs of you being in that mindset are not always going to be careful. So just remember there is God and there's demons. Either way, God is a demon and demons are God too. Okay. Because you do know that inheritance, maybe even inheritance, okay, is going to bring in your mind good news. So it's like if it does bring in good news to your mind, the warning signs are there for you to bring in an inheritance through God's kingdom, through the mindset of angels, through demons, through spirits, through ghosts, through ancestors, through all kind of different things like the Garden of Eden would bring in this money, okay? Hence why we talk about it through the mindset of yours or maybe another person that could ideally understand. Even if we was to bring in the mindset of like people like Alistair Crawley, for instance, he's a person that knows very well about, bloodline magic, bloodline moon magic, sex magic, rituals that, come from space, ideally the moon or planets on Earth. That don't really exist to you, but in the mind of others, it absolutely does exist, okay? These people are specially gifted in the mind. They don't have any inheritance given to them. Ideally, even Jay-Z, he doesn't have anything existing in his mind to say, I know more about this. Even Tupac knew about this stuff, okay? Warning, Puff Daddy, okay, which is P. Diddy now, doesn't know about this stuff much, but he knew a lot more about it than you know. Okay, and it doesn't say any of them want to help your mindset to bring in the idea that it's going to work out in your favor. In Illuminati, it's used as a ritual to bring in sex and love and money. Okay, it brings in all three of those things: sex, love, and money. So sex is sex. Don't really need to do anything to cause it, but people do use it as a way to get other people to bring them into the mindset of having sex. It's like, well, you have to be a part of our club, go and do something that's going to be sexual and I'll give you love, I'll give you money. Okay. Doesn't say that it always works in your favor. It says time and time again, people may be riddling people, maybe even using them to manipulate them or even cause and concern their mindsets. But it says all this time, really, it's a manipulation tactic gone wrong. It's very devilish, or it's very mindful that it could be good news or bad news, depending on how you see it. You know, it's more related to your mindset or the eye of the beholder that believes in it to be good or bad. Doesn't say it's a bad thing though, and it says warning: if anybody wants to challenge those energies in the world, you've got to speak to them directly, because you're not trying to challenge them, they're not trying to challenge you. But a mindset is there for people to talk about it or look at it, even if their name comes up. Ideally, if Jay-Z was to hear us speaking about this right now, in his mindset, he'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Don't involve me. Or he would want to know what's going on. But it says Beyonce wouldn't want to get involved, okay? But she knows where it's going in her mindset with Jay-Z and his mindset believing in these things, because she's, you know, that's her husband, you know. So it doesn't say that she doesn't want to know that we're speaking about things in that way. But it says karma comes if you ever enter their room where they're private, because they don't want to know that their rituals are going to be bothering anyone, because they do have rituals. People know this already. Even Eric, okay, someone called Eric. There's also someone called Macintosh as well. It does say these people know what's going on with the diamonds in the mindsets of people that are very, you know, clear about their pathways or clear in the mind about things. Doesn't say much more than that. Oprah even knows about things like this. And, you know, ways forward that could bring you money are not always easy, but the mind has money. Okay, it's centered around the mind. You already have the clarity in your mind to bring forth the money. So whether you use the sex energy or whether you use the mindset around money, it doesn't help you to bring forth the money in a way that you're going to just sporadically make it appear or reappear or disappear. It's like it's an energy field that will bring money in through people's flow and finances of sexual allure. Okay, so when you're alluring to someone, alluring in a way that your energy is exuding sexual beauty and fantasy, it brings in more of that. So you could turn into this goddess right on the spot after you've, you know, had sex, and you feel very energetic in the way that your mind is like, okay, I'm attractive. And then it absolutely bounces off of someone else's mind and makes them think, well, bloody hell, she is attractive. I'm coming to her. Okay, it's warning. It is calling someone through telepathic mind games or even telepathic mischief that does come into the minds of others at times when they want to know their sexual energy is very, very placid, but at the same time, very, very basic enough to bring in someone that's got money. Okay, doesn't say they have to have sex. It's just it brings in the right sources. Okay, so if you have sex with yourself or you have sex with a partner, you feel very submissive. You feel like money is entering your life through the submissive energy that you feel in your mindset around money. Okay, and it's warning you, don't speak, but you can mimic someone's energy or see the mindset of a man in your mind that you want to bring forward this money. Now, whether it's him that directly brings this money forward or someone else, in your ancestral realm, someone might come forward. Like maybe even someone that you know from your family. Maybe it could be an outside influence, like someone you just know and you don't really think they're going to bring you money, but they end up bringing you money, right? Sometimes it could be an absolute stranger and they just bring you this money because the sexual allure in your mind is like, yeah, I want them to bring it. I'm very horny. And they're very horny too, but for the right reasons. It's just to bring you that money. But it says that money has to be given to you through a winning streak in their mind. Like their mindset will bring their money based on the mind of yours saying, I know I'll give it to you. I'll know I'll punish you after I'm giving it to you though. So you may have to go through some type of ritual or sacrifice though. So it says it's not always easy to get the money after you've been given it, because sometimes they want to punish you for whatever they do to give it to you because they don't know if they should give it to you, number one. Number two, they give it to you and then they're feeling kind of left out from something that they said they felt in their loins or in their masterminds when they were trying to figure out who they should give a payment to. For whatever reason that payment comes to you, based on their minds, because your sexual energy might attract them through the energies of the ether and the realms of karma, okay? But it says it doesn't necessarily help you to understand why they're giving it to you unless you've got a contract deal, unless you've got like maybe a wedding or a marriage, or maybe you're giving it to them in the mind that they know exactly what it is. It's like you could also conjure up a spell attached to it saying, well, I know this money is given to me through a ritual of, you know, binding this spell energy to yours because you know what it's going to be when you come and bring it to me. Okay, like you can put that in the universe, whatever it is that you believe they have to pay you for. Okay, but it says it's not going to be easy to do that either. At times it works, and it works like a charm, but it's very mischief. It will make you think, bloody hell, should I be doing that? And then they come to you, but they want to punish your energies after, because they start to warn you, I'm going to expose you. I'm going to bring you down in some way. I'm going to laugh at you. Hence why Jay-Z right now, he's being laughed at by the universe in certain ways, because people are laughing at his mindset for things that he's done in the past and kept it secret, okay, through child molest or even sexual things, relation to money that he was warned he would get if he would bring in the right partnerships, like through Rockefeller and stuff like that. Who knew he was going to get so tight in those partnerships? He didn't know that. He had to have sex with strangers, maybe even children or young people or adolescents to get there, okay? But put it in the mindset that he's horny and he's calling in kind of devilish minds through the energy to bring him money. Now, this is a secret, but it says, warning, not everybody should know the secret. And if it's coming out today, it's because Beyonce also wants to know who knows this or is curious. Now, she might not come to this reading and see it, but at the same time, she might know in her head that spiritual angels are there to speak about it. It says, karma comes to me even as the reader, because I'm bringing up this energy, but it's like, warning, I never asked for this energy to come to me directly with their information being divulged. So it will have to go back to sender, whoever wants to come for me, basically, that energy. Because I shouldn't be able to be harmed because whatever they're doing in ritual or secret through their spells and stuff to harm someone for divulging their business, okay? Just like Jaguar Wright would come out and say, all right, I know their problems. I know their secrets. I know who really the baby mum is for Jay-Z, ideally, you know, Blue Ivy or whatever. But it says karma comes to them like that. They don't know people's business and they just go and, you know, find information and talk about it. But it says, I know who's going to come out of the situation. Hence why I'm doing the reading right now in that way, because sex magic is very, very used in the popular universe of celebrities, okay? Celebrities, Hollywood, you know, places of that nature is very, very lucrative money there with sexual rituals, okay? Jinn is there also as well, practicing witchcraft for these spiritual beings, ideally, you know, celebrities, because their spiritual energy starts coming out of them. Hence why Beyonce might say, oh, I'm hallucinating and I'm Sasha Fierce, you know? Hence why, you know, Nicki Minaj might be her alter ego, which is, I forgot the name of it now. It's like some type of boy or something like that. She's got several different alter egos. But it says, warning, these celebrities don't know how to communicate things in their mindset to trouble their heads all the time. They see that they know they've got good information or bad information, but they warn themselves not to pick on people that know this information because it's not their fault. It just comes out at times. So if you want to do sex magic and you're using sex magic of evil witchcraft people, or even people like Aleister Crowley that died or passed away and he left behind books for you to look into, or Jay-Z might have said, all right, you know something, I don't know you very well, but I'm going to let you open up your mindset to my mindset and teach you what it is that I did to get this money, because I'm a billionaire right now. And who says I didn't know how to get this money? Because I had to learn it through Illuminati or through spells I was doing with Beyonce, or maybe even through other people like Rockefeller or other people that knew me in Puff Daddy's crew, okay, or wherever it was, all right? But it says, warning, you shouldn't know everything. Now, if you do know this information, it's not your fault again. However, you've got the information through Ether. Ether knows this information. God knows this information. So you've been passed down, whoever knows it the most, in a way that they can teach you something to get the information. All right? That's why we're reading it, and it's coming out in this way where these people are coming up in the reading so heavily. It says not to worry yourself about who's going to speak about it, because time and time again, people do talk about it. It doesn't matter whose name goes out in the universe, i.e. mine can go out in the universe, and it's not to say that I know the information. It's just coming up in the universe to say that I've heard the information. We are passing it out in a way that people want to know, because some people do want to know, what is this energy? Hence why I've been curious at times to know, what is this energy? Where does it come from? And why do people use it? It says participating in these energies are not spells or rituals to be faint-hearted, or for you to be faint-hearted, but it says not really going to be punished in that mindset for you to be looking into the situation. Either way, Beyonce wouldn't mind telling you off. Some people in the universe might not want you to know, but these people might want to tell you off, because it says it's none of your business what we do in private, but we're not passing our minds around them. The universe keeps opening up and talking about them. Why? Because they're speaking about things in their private life to do with these things on a regular basis. And there's only teachings in those realms right now where God is concerned, because they may have made some things up over time and used it, or maybe they're using Rockefeller's ideas, which is, I know I'm going to get this money to come to me soon, so what do? I have sex. Okay, doesn't say anything other than that. It says Jinn could come out and speak to some of you, including me, myself as a reader, but it says not really, because God says we are going to participate and make this love mindset come out. Ideally, the reading has to exalt around feelings of you loving something, wanting something, and believing the information has to come out to teach you something, or else you just leave it alone. Okay, so it says, warning, right now you are under oath to speak about what you know, but it says no one knows about this energy but whatever God does, because we want to know directly from God or the universe, what is this? Why is this energy there? Why is it sex, rituals, magic that brings money? What is this? And it says they don't know anything is what people want to say around the celebrity realm. That's why there is someone there that's very nervous right now, and she knows who she is. We're going to say nothing about her because she's very nervous about this. She doesn't want anything to come out. But it says, I know that I speak about this a lot, but people shouldn't know my business. But she's worrying about something that's frivolous, because we're not trying to know her business. So if she's doing it right now, that's her business. Very much so, Beyonce's energy keeps popping into this reading. But it says we don't necessarily want her energy to be there directly. So if she's on the surface, that's not our fault. She needs to go back to where she came from with that, or just tell us some information, like as if it's a story that never was told, but in a way that the universe is giving us the information. It's just like a book, okay? Not like it's her personal life, all right? Because it's very much on display in the personal realms of her own, but it's on display in the realms of Jay-Z right now, because he's on the surface of people's minds and mouths. And it says it's a warning sign for him to speak about it too. But it says, warning, we don't want to know the energy coming off of you guys. Can you move on and leave us alone so that we can read into the situation and see what's going on? And it says he knows he wants to look at me right now in my spirit to see why I want to know this information, because he's in vulnerable territories to use it right now. It says we're not trying to use it to get any recognition from Jay-Z. In fact, we like the fact that he makes billions of pounds, but we don't necessarily want him to be used in this reading to tell us anything that he's uncomfortable with. Okay, so right now it says Jay-Z, Beyonce, and the mind game of Jaguar Wright doesn't want to come out of this problem, but they're going back in the ether to see where it goes wrong with their personal love life. Okay, my phone's ringing. One sec. So sorry about that, my phone was ringing. Doesn't say anything bad is going on in regards to the situation though. Mostly if people want to come out of the energy that they're in, they may come into your mindset and speak to you about why they're in that energy field in the first place. Like if Beyonce or Jay-Z wanted to come to me and speak to me about it, they would have to talk to me directly or torment me or something. But, you know, what's the point in that if they've got a problem with sex magic, which is something that they could have made up in their head, right? But it doesn't say it was made up in their head. It's not their copyright, okay? It's not their idea first, like they made it up, and, you know, it could just be something that they do. That's why we need to move on from the energy, but it's very rampant right now in their mood. Now it says, I'm warning you not to speak to me. I'm Beyonce. But I didn't call for Beyonce. I didn't call for Beyonce. So why is she coming in this reading? I don't know. So it says, only if you understand that I'm in Sasha Fierce's energy and I want to come forward and speak to whoever knows of this energy to bring me some more time. Maybe even money. I need this money. So do other people. Hence why we're looking at this reading to see what's going on. Okay. So it says warning signs are there for anyone to bring in this money right now for her energy field. Doesn't say that people are there wanting to know that her energy field is doing any kind of sex magic, to be fair. She may want to do short shows in the next week, or even center stage on her mindset about things that she's done in the past with Blue Ivy. Doesn't say anything more than that, really, apart from Beyonce and Jay-Z going out in public in the next week or two and announcing some friendly things to people. Maybe even seeing if Jay-Z cuts off his dreads, or even speaks about things that he's warned himself not to speak about in the times that he has, that he could come out and say again, I'm a fraud about who I am, or, you know, Blue Ivy's mother, that type of thing, because they know secrets around that, but they're not divulging it in the head. Right now, it's about the sex magic. Why is it coming up in your head, in your mindset strong, is what she wants to say, or people want to say around her, around your mind. But it says you're not looking at them. You just want to know about the situation. It says warning signs are there for you to turn off right now, because I'm looking forward to whoever could come out with it in their head and see it. So it says it's a dangerous time right now for you to look into it, or it's not easy to look into it because people are using it right now. Hence why they don't want to know that you're coming forward to bring them money. But at the same time, they might have to bring you some money and then punish you in public. It says not by chance, not by any negativity, and not by hell. Okay, because someone wants to protect me, your energy, and everybody else's energy on this platform. Now, anyone that wants to look into something, it's warned that these people need to stop poking their nose into people's business as well, because this business is more so yours, more in your mindset about who you are and how you're doing things, than anyone that's in the sexual, you know, universal realm that's using energy to look out there at anybody. That's where it becomes dangerous as well. It's like, why are you using anyone, any murderer or any mystic or any kind of crazy weirdo could come out and do something. Even celebrity death wishes come upon people as well sometimes, and people are looking. There is very, very much mystic people looking right now, okay? Celebrity mystic people as well. But it says no one's going to come to you blaming the problem on you. Everybody needs to do things in their own way. Hence why sex magic is not really a ritual to be played with or even masterminded in the mind. It needs to be done privately, personally, and not with anybody's youthful husband or wife. Maybe even people that have come forward in the past want to come forward again. But it says, warning, maybe you've had time to see why you had sexual energy with someone. Maybe you've had sex with someone's husband or someone's wife. Maybe you even had sex with them. Maybe you felt like you had sexual energy around them with people. But it says, warning, why would I do that? Because I sent them to you. Hence why a man or a woman has been providing me with sexual rituals to teach you a lesson or to send you back to your mindset about it. But it says, warning, if this woman wanted to come forward and speak to you directly, why is she doing that now? Why is she coming to you with her husband and speaking to you about this sexual energy? If this is a celebrity, even if this is Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z, why now? Why are they coming to you right now in the energy realms? Like you've tapped into sex magic. Why now? Why not in any other reading? Why in sex magic reading? Yeah, because all of you looking into these readings and watching them all the time, you don't see them coming into the readings much. You might see other celebrities even. Okay, even Ashanti, she comes in some readings as well. Even Cardi B, she comes in readings a lot as well. Yeah, but it says not everybody comes into these readings. Sometimes Sasha Fierce's readings will relate to things that are very strange or unusual. Okay, hence why Jaguar Wright will even probably want to get involved. But it says someone else is also watching this energy too. And it says there's a celebrity and she does witchcraft and she knows who she is, but she doesn't want to speak to you at all. She wants to speak to people around you, or even people that want to know that they're looking into these readings or things that are going to happen around these energies and participate in these wishes. Okay, people could also look at you like, bloody hell, why would you want to do these readings? Or even, why would you want to get involved in these spells? Because you're not very big in the celebrity realm, or you are very big. Why do you need to, you know, go around it in this way to get sex money? It says, well, some of you do know you can get it in this way, and some of you want to warn yourself you could get it in this way. Some of you don't want to know you can get it. Some of you are just curious. Some of you want to know for feelings of what you've read or seen or know. Some of you just want to know, like, is there any harm in just knowing because it's been talked about a lot and it's on the media or it's around the earth, and it's like it wants to come out in some way for people to know if it's going to be talked about. Yeah, some people are very curious, okay? And it says right now, evil mindsets might even give you a glimpse of your own medicine if you touch them too much in their head, okay? Because some of them want to give you money. Right now, Jay-Z's not mad at it. Yeah, Prince of Darkness could come into his mindset and ideally play a role in his head. But it says, warning, why do you want to get involved in the Prince of Darkness energy? Why does he want to get involved in that Prince of Darkness energy? Why does Satan want to get involved in them narcissistic energies as well? Why do people want to get bothered in their mindset about it with the evil mental health of Aleister Crowley or other people that have done these rituals in the past? Well, why is a long tell, but who knows why? Yeah? No one knows why, but people that do know why. And why do they want to know? Because they just want to know. Not everybody's going to want to know, but some people do, right? Yeah? So it hence is the situation. Why has it got to enter your realm? Because it just has to. Leave it there, okay? But it says no one's going to see it more than a Freemason or Illuminati. But it says not really, because it can come into anyone's realm once you tap into the energies and ask about it. People can ask about it through Kingdom Come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, back and forth, in the mindset of hate and evil, or good luck, misfortune, good fortune, and very, very high maintenance love. It does work in very, very many realms, and musty evil odors can come out of the situation with masturbation, or evil mindsets could be around it with good news, and it's very, very fresh and clean down there. Okay, it says no one's gonna play a role to say why, apart from why it's just there in the mind, because mentally it's there. It's a mental, physical, and narcissistic and mental illness for some, but not really. It's more so fantasy and dream and, nurturing something, cradling something. Bringing in folklore could come into it as well. And it's very much so in between, it's twisted at times as well. But it's very, very interesting that people can use spells to bring up the money in their mind in a way that they're just calling on the dead energy. Or there's energies in spirit, ideally jinn-like energies in people's spirit that will come to each other to help each other. Okay, and that's the main cause of this information. Maybe even the invitation for people to come and tap into this energy, because there could be invitations right now going around, asking people to tap into it or look at it. Okay, but it says don't look at it if you know that you can't handle it, or be there for the jinn that's going to provoke you at the end of the day, or even problems around the people that could come out of their minds about things in a way that they get disturbed. Hence why Beyonce is a bit nervous now. She could be bothered or doesn't like people looking at her when she's doing certain rituals. Okay, but it says not to worry because no one's bothering her. People don't want to bother her. And if they did, they would come out and say something directly about it. Okay, so right now Jay-Z doesn't have to speak, Beyonce doesn't have to speak, Karma doesn't have to come, Aleister Crowley doesn't have to come out his grave. Yeah, mental health nursing could come to you to solve the problem easily with anybody that's going through these problems and hallucinating. But it says it's not going to be warning that you have to look at these things to turn nasty. We just want to know for facts, figures, and to see how it works. That's where people want to know, does it work? Okay, so ideally the subject ends with yes, it does work. Sex magic is real. Blessings is there for people that want to know this information. Narcissism can go away, bad news can go away, and everything will work if you do tap in the right way. Hence why people use rituals to do it, use candle work to do it at times, use sex as a way forward with, blaming another person in their mind. Okay, mental illness can come from it if you're hallucinating as well. Only if you're hallucinating though. It doesn't work all the time where you're going mad. Okay, or you're just kind of hallucinating and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm in a trance. But it says all these things can participate in the mindset of a negative spirit or a good spirit. Hence why Jay-Z, he's a bit bothered right now about the energy, because he keeps picking on even my energy as a reader. Okay, but it says he doesn't have to. He can mind his business or his manners in a situation and move on, so he can absolutely enjoy it and have fun with whatever he's doing with his friends, his family members, or people that he does sexual rituals with. And that's his private business. Okay, so when we say we're going to tap into it by ourselves in our own personal realms, you could caution yourself and say, all right, it's not very good to do, but it's very good to do for us as celebrities, is what he wants to say, or people around. Nervousness is there with them. Doesn't say why they keep tapping into my energy to answer the questions, but you know, God knows that he has to probably come out and speak about it the most right now, because R. Kelly's energy wouldn't want to come and speak about it. Okay, Puff Daddy's ain't going to come and talk about it either. You know, the Illuminati is not going to come out and say anything, but these people brought it out of the karmic value that it was in the Dark Ages, in Aleister Crowley's days, and other sex magical rituals that were there in the Pied Piper days, okay? And other things that were going on behind the scenes, okay? It says no one really knows more about it more than them because of the way they use the magic, and maybe even because they feel like they've made up the energy and even saw it for what it was. Now, it's been going on for years in other rooms and other places. People have been doing this stuff for years. It doesn't say that they've got it down to a T even, but they want to rule over that energy, and that's why they keep coming into this reading. It doesn't say that they have to, but they could change their mind and move on the other direction, but they want to rule the energy of sex magic, participate in it, that it could come to their mind and help others to see what it is. But it says it's not really helpful if they keep blaming others for wanting to tap in and look at it, because it's not their energy to communicate to in a way that they made it up. It's not theirs to copyright and say, well, I've put a name on it, I am going to call it this, and you know, you can't use it unless you've bought a copy of the book on how to do it. Like, it's not that smart to think about it in that way. Hence why these celebrities have big egos more than what they need to at times. And it's not necessary. It's like we're just tapping into things that we want to see and help ourselves with if we need to. Okay. So right now, if there's energies around you, is it that you need to use it, is what Beyonce wants to say. But it says Beyonce doesn't need to get involved. Please go away, Beyonce. It's not your business to get involved in people's sex life magic. That's their business. It's private. Just like yours is private, theirs is private. So don't tap into theirs, and they don't have to tap into yours, because karma comes in that way. It doesn't have to be like people want to see good news come to you and then you're warned that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing again, you know? So it says everything's going to work out in your favor if you just back off and allow people to look into things in a normal way. And then it says, by God, people will start picking up themselves and looking at it in a good way anyway. Because one weak woman could come out of the situation, and it's like fight energy is there, but it's like, don't fight the ancestors in your realm, because they also want to harm you with certain things that you've got going on too. Because there is an energy that's trying to be threatening, but it doesn't need to be threatening at all. So it just needs to back off, you know? And then this person says, I'm warning you, you back off, because you're not allowed to enter this realm. But it says you're entering a realm that is not even your own. Stop picking on people that are trying to go through portals, that want to see things in their own realm, and they can't get to it because you're blocking it with your mind and your tush. Yeah, and your vagina and your willies and everything else that's going on, and it's not any of their business, okay? So it says God is there trying to punish these people right now, including these celebrities that are trying to punish us or me or whoever's tapping into the readings or looking at it at this time. And they are not allowed to see things in a bad way. They are allowed to see things in a good way, in a way that they could pass the test and move past people's mindsets about it and leave them alone. But they can't see things in a bad way, in a way that they want to harm people. Okay? That has to stop. And then it says Gala energy could come to Beyonce again, because she does know she wants to go to the gala, or maybe even see people around that do wear these outfits that represent things that could bring her mind towards that sexual energy as well. But it says don't witness everything in your mind, Beyonce. That's going to punish your mind and others, because she might be going into a hallucinating state that's trying to bring her mind around people's energy that will punish her energy again, because she's trying to be too close to Illuminatis that want to speak about things in possession of their own, but these things are not their possession. She doesn't even own Illuminati. So she needs to stop loosing her mind around these things way too much. Hence why Blue Ivy is overly riddled with sexual minds right now in her own little way, because she might be seeing things, and it's like portals are there for her to say, all right, I don't want to see things in the way my mum and dad do, but I want to see things in a way that I want to. And this will come out in the future when she's older. But it doesn't say anything's good that's going to come out of it right now, when people are too much into other people's mindsets and wondering what they're doing and not minding their business. Even with her life, she doesn't want people in it, so she should back off and not allow people to go in it and speak up for herself and stick up for herself in a way that she doesn't have people jumbling in her head about her private life, you know? So it says warning signs are there for her to pick on no one. Lying about the situation is not going to be easy because she doesn't want you to let go of what it is that you know right now, which is her mindset being nasty. So if we was to do this reading another day, she might be gone or she might not be there anymore, okay? Because she keeps tapping into this reading so heavy right now. It's unbelievable. It's even hard to get past this mind to read the energies, okay? So it says that we have to solve the problem with you not looking at me. She says, I don't want to look at you. But it says, I'm not looking at you, Beyonce. Please move past the energy then. It says, not by chance. We just want to know how it works. And it doesn't have to be by you. It's by God. Thank you. Okay. So right now, God says, I'm opening up a room for you to come and see what Lucifer does. It doesn't say that he's there with this energy, but he does know that people like that do not know how to let go of bad news. They warn themselves to keep hold of people's things and other people's ideas until death do them part. Says it doesn't absolutely help her to move past it in a good way, though. She's warned herself not to do rituals or spells on people of the public. She also knows not to tap into people in her mind in a way that she sees people of the public. So therefore, she has to mind her business and stop prying over other people's evil mindsets, is what she will call it. But really, it's people looking at information that they're allowed to look at. It's public knowledge. It's in the Guinness Book of Records. It's also in the Akashic Records. And it's not going to be anything that's narcissistic in a way that we're not allowed to look at, you know? It's like we're allowed to look at these things. We're not punishing our mind for looking at it. She's the only one that's punishing right now because she does it very heavily in her mind with people. The sex magic, okay? But it says only you would understand who I am. Ideally, I wouldn't want to come to you, but I feel like I'm going to punish you if you keep looking at this energy. It says if she does punish you, then she's going to get punished instantly by God and demons, because this energy is not hers to cover in her mind and hold like it's hers, or even keep there like a coin or a shield or anything that she could have in her mind, like she could keep it there, okay? So that energy has to be banished today by God, by the demons, by angels, by God. And anyone else participating in bloodline magic or rituals, it says it could happen today, but it's not also going to be a good thing for you to do. However, it says we're not doing bloodline magic. We're also not doing rituals related to sex in a way that it's got blood in it. These are things related to just sex and money. How does it bring the money in? It says poor people will know how to do this when they want to. They bring in sex to their mind. They bring in love to their mind. They also know who they want the money from or where they want it to come. They also bless the mindset of the person that they see bringing that money. And they probably want to know that they're not cursing them, so they do rituals around that too. They ask for spiritual energies of jinn to participate. Sometimes they use ancestors or ghosts or even demons to do so. But it says, warning, it doesn't always work in their favor to do it like that, but they can do it through God's energy just like you. Hence why Beyonce is very stubborn and doesn't want you to move past it. God's energy is the richest when it comes to sex magic because it's brought life into the world. But it's not God's energy that belongs to Beyonce. This is God's energy, and it doesn't belong to the Illuminati or you know, the federal convictions of her mind saying, well, I know it's fraud that you're doing, trying to tap in, you're not allowed to be here, la 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 la. It says she's not allowed to keep hold of that energy, so she's got to move on. And if her private life has now been, you know, opened up in the mail, so to speak, then she has to deal with the situation because no one told her to hold on to something that's not hers. Okay, so anything could come out today in relation to the news being on the mindset of yours and people that don't know who they are, but they could come out and speak about things for anything related to sexual energy that's not coming to their mind to say, but it's brought through the news in a way that you'll see karma comes because someone had time to think how it was going to block them from something that may want to come out. Like it's like something wasn't meant to be spoken today, but it comes out. Whether this is through Jaguar or this is from some other news or any kind of like blogging platform or anything like that. But it says you all will know of this energy when it comes out. It might come out on the media today because something is very, very lucrative in the stars with this energy and sex. But it says everything will work out in your favor to move past it. No one's going to bother you again about it in the next week or two. Jay-Z's energy will move on. Beyonce's energy will move on. You'll see more about your heirlooms in relation to sex magic, maybe even Jesus time in relation to sex magic. Or warning, after the retrograde, we could do a better reading on sex magic because it will come out better then. What kind of things need to be solved or even explored or spoken about. Okay, destiny may wipe out clean the sex energy in the universe to witchcraft. Okay, because it's like people are using it for the wrong reasons, hence why Illuminati energy wouldn't mind using it, but they realize it's not very good for them to use. At times it can kill people or harm people. It says even with the Aaliyah situation, it may have murdered her. Through Jay-Z's mindset, it does come into the existence again. People are investigating this. It does say Aleister Crowley doesn't want to talk about those things anymore, but it says Illuminati doesn't want to deal with any kind of Fred Flintstone. They know what they mean by that. They don't understand why they're speaking about it in that way. They also know that they're not coming forward to speak about things in the universe the way you would say it or people around you would say it. Okay, because it's not very honest for them to talk about in a way that they feel like you could say, all right, I'm coming out with the truth. And it could be dead on, it could be spot on, but they would lie about it because they're celebrities. They don't want people to know their business. Okay, so you have to move past the mindsets in a way that you see good news. You don't have to warn yourself that you've got good news with sex magic right now, today, but after the retrograde, you'll have better news. Yeah, so after the 28th or the 29th, you'll have better news, and we can warn you to look into that energy then. Because something's coming up to block this energy right now, and it's not speaking about why directly, other than some news is trying to come out, and it could be related to that. So that's why it's very, very secretive in the Beyonce community right now, or maybe in Jay-Z's. And somewhere around, you know, satanic rituals or sex or, you know, mental rituals, or even Satan, it's saying that, you know, there could be things around that realm that are not good to talk about right now. You know, there's 666, there's the devil, there's this, that, there's all kind of evil. So just be careful, be mindful, and be vigilant. Like I said at the beginning of the reading, but it says warning signs are there not to be too scared, and it says I'm God, I know this. Beyonce should not be afraid about what I've got to say. And this is Jay-Z's energy and his family. It's even his friends as well that feel like they need to hold on to these energies a bit more to see what's going on too. But it's not going to be easy to help whoever come out with these things. Okay, so they're not going to speak about it for us today, and they know who to go to for that sex magic as well, or rituals. R. Kelly can't come out and speak about things that he's done in the past with these rituals too. Okay, there could be children involved in these rituals, and it's dark, but it says not all the time you must use children. Okay, yeah, we don't have to use Kama Sutra even, but we do, and that don't involve no children. Okay, there ain't no mantra saying, all right, it has to be a specific way in relation to children being used. It don't. So it's a warning that someone needs to speak up about the dark energies that have been going on behind the backs of others, or even people that have been exposed. But it's like, well, why do we need to hear that today in this reading? And it's very, very lucrative right now in this very reading, why it keeps stopping us from moving forward to hearing things like there's an investigation going on, or people need to hear what's going on deeply to see who's talking about what. But it's nothing to do with them why we're investigating what sex magic is. So we shouldn't get harmed from the reading that we're trying to look at. And no, we shouldn't get worried about these people that want to do themselves harm, trying to cover up their dirt from whatever it is that they've done and gone to pray for help in jail cells, or whatever it is that they've, you know, done to the mindsets of other people because they've harmed them. You know, people don't need to tap into those energies. Not everybody wants to know the bad news. Okay, no one wants to see any narcissism with Jaguar Wright or Beyonce or Jay-Z. Like, even if they do, that's their business. It's nothing to do with our channel, this particular channel, or any channel that's in relation to just wanting to know some evil information or some good information or some bad information, but not related to people directly. It's like, you know, I just need to know certain things for the universal methods that I'm using it for, you know, for ether to tell me what's going on in life in a way that I could use this information almost like it's a spell or a ritual that I'm using, and I just want to know the information. without it being covered by the blood of Jesus around Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay, so we'll leave it there for now because no one's going to be able to tell us anything in the ethers until this energy moves on. There could be an energy surge around Beyonce and Jay-Z and R. Kelly and maybe Puff Daddy in relation to these things right now through the universe or the government, or maybe even God telling us, you know, whoa, we've got to hold off for a minute because something's going on with them. We need to look at them further with this energy because it's them that's been using these energies for bad news. And it's not going to be you all that use it for bad news, but right now they're being looked at. Okay, so it could be that as well. Warning signs are there for people to not want to worry about that even because Beyonce doesn't want to know that. But it's getting peak. So let's just leave it there, my love, and we'll take it in a next reading, okay? That things could get more interesting and not really blocked by other people's destinies and other people's signs and other people's symbols and other people's going-ons, okay? Because it's not your fault that you can't get a good news right now from this energy with that, but you've heard a lot about it in a way that you could use it and how you can use it. And warning, you don't have to use no kids for it. In fact, we're not going to promote that on this channel. We're not promoting that you use any child for it. There's no children in relation to sex magic in the minds that we're looking at, or even in things that we're looking at to find a way to move forward. That doesn't exist. And if it does, we don't want no parts of it. Okay? So that's that. And everything else is above normal. Like, it's normal, but it's above normal. We don't want no crap. We don't want no backlash. We don't want no negativity. We don't want no evil. So move on to whoever's been looking and participating in looking at bad news. Because we're not exuding the bad news. We're not bringing it. We don't want it. And we're not searching for it. And that's that. Okay? So, my lovelies, I'm going to leave it there because the energies are really surging right now and helping us to move past things very quicker than normal because there's things going on in the ether that's trying to change, transform and be good omens in regards to Scorpio energy, blocking things, ending things and passing things on for another day to have better news. And Jesus loves you. God loves you. Amen to all of you. And I will speak to you in the next reading. So ciao for now. Bye.